college football is out, Lena, and we got some changes in the top 5 too.
We do, which is finally, it's exciting. I love this time of college football season. We actually kind of start separating who's really good, who's really making a case for themselves to go to the CFP, and who's really not doing that. So let's go ahead and take you through the Week 4 AP poll. Alabama, we all know they're at number 1. They handled Ole Miss handedly, let's say. Georgia comes in at number 2, Clemson at number 3, followed by Ohio State, and then Oklahoma comes in at number 5, Tom. Let's take it to the next slide. LSU, they creep their way all the way up to number 6. Stanford, they move up to 7. Notre Dame, they're at 8. Auburn, they just dropped down to 9. And then we have a tie this week, Tom. Washington and Penn State, they both come in at number 10 with 947 votes.
Which one's the Browns and which one is the Steelers?
Good one. West Virginia comes
next. It wasn't
next.
that funny of a
They're
joke,
at
guys.
number 12. Virginia Tech, they're at 13, followed by Mississippi State, and then Oklahoma State moves all the way up to number 15. We'll talk about that, Tom. That is quite the jump right there. UCF, we'll take it to this next slide. They're at 16, followed by TCU. They lost to Ohio State, but they remain ranked coming in at 17. Wisconsin drops all the way to 18, Tom.
They did lose to BYU.
They did, but oh my gosh, that is quite the drop we're seeing this week. Michigan coming in at 19. Oregon State's put at number 20 after beating San Jose State. And then wrapping up the top 25, we have Miami at 21, Texas A&M at 22, Boston College at 23, Michigan State somehow at 24, and then BYU makes their way after beating Wisconsin to that 25 spot, Tom.
The one big jump for me, at least in terms of Wisconsin dropping, the one that kind of surprised me was Georgia surpassed Clemson this week.
Yes, they did.
And I know you wanted that last week.
I did.
And I know that Clemson was sloppy this week.
They were.
But should that have really happened?
I think so, Tom.
Why this week?
Because they didn't put up last week was a fluke performance.
They were sloppy, yeah.
Exactly.
They still won pretty handily.
They won handedly, but not as handedly, I think, as they should have. Georgia, they absolutely took down their opponent this week. They put up a lot of points. They're all playing bums, but Georgia did what they should do against a bum. Clemson is still not proving to me that they know how to take care of the looser guys, and when they start playing more top 25 teams, Tom, Clemson's going to fall.
We'll see about that.
Okay.
So I think no. I still think that Clemson should have stayed above Georgia. Yeah, it wasn't the most sexy effort ever, but that kind of surprised me, because if you were going to do it, I think it should have done it last week, not this week.
All right. Well, let us know in the reaction polls, guys, should Georgia have jumped Clemson this week? So for me, I'm throwing up that heart. Quite personally, I think it should have happened last week. But if you think no, if you still think Clemson is the second best team in college football, throw up that thumbs up thing. I almost forgot what it's called.
I'm confused by one other thing here, namely, why did West Virginia jump Virginia Tech when neither team played?
Yeah, I'm really confused
why
about that
does WVU go to 12 over 14 and surpass Virginia Tech? I know that neither team played, but this happened back-to-back weeks for Va Tech, where they've been oh yeah, we're in good shape, and we're going to let other teams jump us when we won or didn't play. It confuses me. It very much confuses me.
It confuses me also when we have a tie going on, right before those rankings too, at number 10. Don't you think something probably could have been worked out in that 10 through 13 spot? If we're going to be moving up teams we didn't play and tying teams, I don't know. It's all over the place this week. I love it. It's chaos. It's college football, ladies and gentlemen. And you can see here the receiving votes. So Kentucky, South Florida, some undefeated teams. They're getting some votes. They're getting some love. Too. Texas got in there. It was really interesting. We were talking about it. We were like, is Texas going to be ranked?
No,
is Texas
they shouldn't
back?
Even vote. Ooh, they beat USC, who I don't think is that good of a football team, and they lost to Maryland. They have no business being ranked.
Let us know if you guys think that Texas should have been ranked through all of this. And don't forget, today we're going to be answering your guys' questions live right after we go through all the rankings. We're going over some top matchups, but get those comments in the comment section below. Facebook Live, YouTube Live, we got you covered.
Keep them coming there, folks. Syracuse also getting some votes because FSU is a terrible, terrible football team.
Terrible. Oh, I could talk about how bad FSU is for a long time, but we won't because they aren't ranked, so we won't talk about them.
I'm kind of surprised Ohio State didn't go up higher.
Yeah,
they beat a good TCU team. If you're going to put Georgia at 2, honestly, I think I would have put Ohio State at 2.
I think I would have too, Tom. I mean, oh my gosh, Dwayne Haskins was on fire for the Buckeyes. And this is without Urban Meyer. They are beating teams left and right, looking like arguably the second best team in college football without their coach, leading the way. I mean, that's really impressive to me. I think you make a good point there, Tom.
I would have put Ohio State too, but that's just.
I think so too. So let us know in the comment section, where should Ohio State be ranked? I'm with Tom. I think they should have been number 2. I think Georgia and Clemson could have fallen in that 3 and 4 spot respectively. But let us know what you guys think as well. And while we're at it, I want to ask you guys something else. So Wisconsin, they were a top 6 team last week, right? And they lose to BYU, which came out of nowhere. Did CFP completely fly out the window? Are their chances gone right now?
If they went out, they're still going to make it.
Okay.
Even with the loss to BYU, because other teams will lose. They'll have wins over teams like Ohio State and Michigan on the resume. Wisconsin's not out of it yet, but that was a big loss and a bad loss for them.
Yeah, that was not looking good. Even with Jonathan Taylor at running back, still a Heisman candidate, Tom, but they could not get it done against the Cougars. And do you think the Cougars deserve to go to 25 after beating Wisconsin? Do you think that's a fair ranking?
Shouldn't BYU be ahead of them, though? Like, shouldn't they be ahead? Doesn't that make the most sense?
Does college football ever really make sense, though? Tom?
Like, if they beat the same team, they have the same record, shouldn't BYU be ahead? Just saying. Just saying.
But what does make sense is using the GameTime app, you guys. GameTime is the #1 app for all your last-minute ticketing needs, sports tickets, concert tickets, so much more for up to 60% off, 70% off, even 80% off. We're telling you guys, you can get tickets for $1. Like, it is ridiculously cheap. So get it done today. Chatsports.com/tickets. That will take you right to downloading the app. So let's continue rolling through week 4 AP poll just released, came out a few moments ago. Alabama, they're still at #1, and
Shocker.
they handled Ole Miss. Okay, so Ole Miss was 2-0 going into the game, and I actually thought this could have been one where Alabama wasn't going to completely blow a team out of the water, right? I'm like, okay, SEC, competition, maybe Ole Miss will put up a fight, and they looked like they were going to until.
So, funny story. I was watching this game before the Ohio State TCU game came on, and it was 7-7. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll go get a pizza right now. There's plenty of time left in the first quarter. And then I came back right before halftime, and all of a sudden it was 49-7. And I was like, wait a minute, what just happened? Like, what happened to Alabama? Like, how did they put up so many points all of a sudden? So I went back and watched, and it was a disaster for Ole Miss and perfection for Alabama. Go figure.
From defense to offense, Alabama just executed perfectly. And I want to know from you guys, Alabama's looking really, really hot. They have repeated as national champs before in Nick Saban's tenure. Tom, do you think they're going to repeat this year?
Well, so far they've cruised to 3 wins, and they're like not even trying that much. Like, Damian Harris had 5 carries. He's their #1 back. Like, they gave him the ball 5 times. Like, okay, cool, we're good. That's all he needs. Like, they gave Tua 5 carries. He let him throw the ball 15 times. He had 191 yards and 2 TDs. Like, the offense looks fantastic. And beyond the one big play by Ole Miss, the defense completely shut them down.
Oh, yeah, they had that really cool turnover belt, too, that I saw. That was one of my favorite things.
They had a 75-yard touchdown catch, and that was over half of their actual production.
Yeah, Jerry Jeudy was on fire, by the way. This kid's unreal. This is the next great Alabama wide receiver. I'm all about that kid.
Yeah. So Alabama's probably going to find a way to repeat, yes.
All right, let us
Which is annoying, but yes.
It's just what happens year after right? It's like death, taxes, and Alabama winning the CFP.
Or at least being in the
CFP at this point. All right, continuing on, we've talked about it. West Virginia and Virginia Tech, they don't play, but they move up in the rankings. Mississippi State still holding strong, still proving me wrong. I thought they were kind of overranked.
Have you taken the L?
I'm not taking the L yet, because I said by the end of the year they won't be ranked higher than 18. So it's not the end of the year yet. I'm still waiting it out. If you guys think that Mississippi State's going to be ranked higher than 18, let me know in the comments section. Go ahead and prove me wrong. My Oregon Ducks, now they stay at number 20, Tom, and game day is in Eugene, Oregon next week.
It's going to be a fun matchup, Oregon versus Stanford. That is going to be number 20 Oregon versus number 7 Stanford. That's a fun game. And with Oregon being at home, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if it's actually the Ducks that are favored in that one.
I think so too, Tom. I mean, Justin Herbert, they played San Jose State. I wouldn't say it was necessarily the best showing that Herbert had. He did throw 2 picks and just 3 touchdowns. But all in all, this is a great team Mario Cristobal is pulling together. A lot of people were counting Oregon out of the Pac-12 race with Willie Taggart leaving. A lot of inconsistencies in the coaching staff. Really young wide receiving core too. They lost Royce Freeman to the draft. The defense, doesn't have any big name guys. But here they are sitting at 3-0. It's just like you got to actually start legitimately about Oregon making a run for it in the Pac-12 North, Tom.
I would not be surprised at all if that's the case. I think you're going to see something happen with Oregon there. I think that they're very much a trendy sleeper pick.
Yes.
So we'll see what happens there.
All right, so let us know who you got for Oregon and Stanford. It's game day, coming back to Eugene with some of my fondest memories in college or at game day. So go ahead, or not so memories, I'm not quite sure. Go ahead and let us know who you got. S for Stanford, O for Oregon. I am typing O all day long. I think Oregon's actually going to get this one, and they beat Stanford, Tom. Oregon top 10 team?
I don't know about that high, but I mean, I could certainly see it happening.
All right.
Or at least them making a big move up.
All right. I like to hear that. I like to hear that. So keep on moving on here. And don't forget, guys, we're going to be asking you guys to comment your questions throughout. And we actually have one coming in right now from Warren Black. He said, so how is Michigan ranked below Wisconsin, who lost to an unranked team? That's a good question, Warren.
Technically, BYU is now ranked. Now, of course, they're only ranked because they beat Wisconsin, and that's the logic loop or circle, I guess.
Right.
The reality is that Wisconsin was ranked way higher than Michigan was before the season, and the AP poll still has plenty of, not quite recency bias, but previous ranking bias. That's why that they are ranked ahead.
But, you know,
it's close though, 486 to 448.
And Michigan does have a tougher slate of games as we move later on to the season. So if they're actually able to produce and get a couple top 25 W's, I wouldn't be surprised to see Michigan definitely go above Wisconsin at some point, depending on the play, of course, of Jonathan Taylor, Alex Hornibrook.
Keep those questions coming, folks.
Yes, and keep them coming. We love it here at Chat Sports. It's not just about us, it's about you guys too. Another huge matchup next week, Tom. We talked about Alabama. I talked to you about how I thought Ole Miss might be a trap game. Now here is a potential trap game for the Alabama Crimson Tide. We got Jimbo Fisher coming to Tuscaloosa.
It's going to be really funny to see how A&M fares if they nearly upset Clemson. Maybe should have if that play had been ruled correctly or incorrectly, depending on how you want to vote on that fumble in the end zone or out of the end zone, near the end zone too. I would still bet pretty heavily on Alabama in this one. But this is a good prove-it game for A&M, too.
Yes, it really is.
Because for Alabama, on one hand, yeah, we beat a top 25 team in A&M. And now they are no longer ranked. Which is kind of like the downside of playing a 17 to 18 team. Because 17 to 18 and below, I mean. Because if they lose, all of a sudden they're not top 25 anymore.
It's true.
So because if A&M loses, they're going to be 2-2. And yeah, their two losses are to two of the best teams in college football, but they're not going to be ranked. Which stinks for Alabama and A&M.
So let us know who you got, guys. Type
Bama.
A for Alabama, Tom's Bama all the way. Type T for Texas A&M. We got a question coming in from Anthony as you guys continue to type in your votes. What if Texas beats TCU next week?
Then I think you might see them getting in the top 25.
Then Texas is back, baby.
Oh, okay. As a man who wanted to go to the University of Texas,
I
wanted to go to UT. Parents said they weren't going to pay for a plane ticket down there. So issue. If Texas beats TCU, then yes, I do think that Texas becomes ranked. It's probably somewhere around 23, 24, 25. But at that point, how could you put Texas behind a Michigan State, for example?
You can't.
I can't justify it.
You really
so at that
can't
point,
justify it.
I think that's when you see Texas kind of move back in the top 25, if we get to that point.
All right, guys, keep those questions coming. I want to talk to you, Tom, about the LSU Tigers. Okay, so they came in close game against Auburn, just won by the skin of their teeth, 22-21. Now, we've seen the Tigers go from 25 in the rankings, or 24, I think, at one point, all the way up to 6.
I mean, they've earned it, though.
They have.
Like if we were doing the college football playoff projections and the committee was actually doing their rankings, I kind of think that LSU might actually be number one. Because if you're only basing it on what's happened in the game, which is not how the AP poll does things, I don't always love that either. LSU has beaten the Miami Hurricanes, number 21, and they beat Auburn, number 9. Who has a better resume than that?
Exactly.
And Auburn beat Washington, too. So it's not like Auburn's a bad football team.
So my question for you, Tom, is LSU a legit title contender?
Can I cheat and wait till they play
I
Alabama?
hate when you cheat.
I like cheating, okay?
That's not fair.
Yes, I think at this point it's fair to consider them a legit title contender. I don't know if they're actually going to win the SEC, but I think it's fair to consider them in that way because they've looked really good so far. Surprisingly so, at least for me.
And especially with all of the quarterback inconsistency they really had going into this season, when they had 2 quarterbacks transfer in the period of 24 hours. With Noel Narcisse.
But it's okay because Joe Burrow is apparently really good. Or at least good enough.
I didn't know if Joe Burrow could get it done to OSU transfer, but he's getting it done, so good for him. I mean, LSU definitely making a name for themselves in the SEC. So let us know, is LSU a legit title contender. Heart for yes, wow face for no. Tom, you got to vote. You can't give me a half heart, half wow face.
Yes, I think they are because they've proven it so far. Now, maybe things change later, but yeah, I think right now they are a legit title contender.
All right, speaking of legit, Game Time. They are the most legit app for all your last-minute ticketing needs. I have gotten Rangers tickets for $1, Mavs tickets for $3.
I got one for $5.
You got one for $5?
And then we just had, and it was great seats too, like because the Mavs weren't very good. So once the team's not good, you get good seats.
I'm telling you guys, go check it out. You won't be disappointed. I went and saw G-Eazy and Lil Uzi Vert for $10 a person. Like, it is ridiculous. It's not just sports tickets, guys. It's everything you could possibly want. Head to chatsports.com/tickets to download the app today. We got another comment coming in from YouTube as we bring up the top 25 once again. Do you think Michigan will win the Big Ten? No.
Unfortunately, I think that's not going to happen because Ohio State exists, and I think Ohio State's going to win the Big Ten. So
I think so too.
I do think Michigan is better than what we saw against Notre Dame, but I don't think that they're going to be a #1 team.
And I still think they have a lot of
in the Big Ten.
Yeah, and I think they got a lot to figure out on the offensive side of the ball still. I know they're putting up more points than they did against Notre Dame, but I'm still not entirely convinced that Michigan knows their identity at this point.
Fair.
All right, got another question coming in on YouTube. We'll get to that here in a second. But let's keep on scrolling through these comments. Oh, there we go. Caleb, it's up. Why is Clemson ranked so high considering how weak their schedule is comparatively? That's a good question.
I'm not saying I agree with it, but the AP pollsters are very reliant on how good they thought a team was entering the year. And I think that, Caleb, I think you would agree with this too. Clemson's a good football team.
Yeah.
Like, that defense is great.
Unreal.
The quarterback has maybe had some, quarterbacks, I should say, are kind of going back and forth. But Clemson is a good football team. There's a reason why a lot of people I've seen in the comment section as well, both on Facebook and YouTube, think Clemson's going to be a college football playoff team. So Clemson is ranked high, much like Alabama is, because it's not like Alabama's played a bunch of great teams either so far, because those teams have proven themselves in the past and we're giving them the benefit of the doubt. Now, once we get to the College Football Playoff Committee and their rankings, Clemson's not going to be as high. And I think that's why you saw Georgia slide above Clemson, because, hey, in reality, Georgia has looked a little bit better in those games against relatively similar opponents, plus they actually had South Carolina compared to A&M.
Thanks for the comment, Caleb. Let's take it to Conlon now, who says, is Notre Dame's defense really that good? Yeah.
Maybe. We did see them play very, very well against Michigan. I'm excited to see Notre Dame play a bunch of other, better programs. I think that this is a solid defense. I'm actually kind of concerned about their offense more, because you put up 22 against Vanderbilt in a scare and put up 24 against Ball State in a bit of a scare. Letdown games, I'm not sure. Let's see how they fare against Wake, and then later on, the week after this, back-to-back games, Stanford and then Virginia Tech. So come back to me after that. We'll see how good they actually are.
Colin, I will say, though, they haven't given up more than 17 points so far in the entire season. It's not bad.
That's good.
That's good. You definitely want your defense to do that. So maybe, like Tom said, let's see a couple more games against Wake Forest. Stanford will definitely be a test for them, and then we'll come back and see if they really are as legit as, they thought we were against Michigan week 1. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to College Football Now, AP Top 25. Tom and I will be back every single Sunday, breaking it down, and keep on getting those questions, because we're not going anywhere, Tom.
Yeah, keep the comments flowing there. Any other thoughts you had on the top 5 as we'll scroll through this here for you guys again if you're just now joining us?
I think we're going to continue to see a lot more switch up in the top 10 of college football.
Well, I think that's the nature of it, right?
I think it is. I think going into next week, I think we've got some good matchups. I think Stanford falls out of the top 10.
Okay. Should I play devil's advocate and pick Stanford just to rally you up as an Oregon alumni?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Because I'm all about disagreeing
Stanford's
here and
gonna
getting
win.
rattled up.
Let's see Bryce Love actually play.
Yeah, honestly, Bryce Love, we all thought he was a Heisman candidate going into this season. Hasn't been super impressive so far.
Injury again has popped up for him, which is a problem. If he has a great game against Oregon, he'll be right back in there. Same too with Herbert.
Yep.
Some Heisman intrigue in that game too. Go figure.
All right, and then continue on here, BYU, Michigan State. Final thought here.
Don't know why Michigan State's ranked.
Exactly. That was my
Doesn't
thought
make
exactly.
sense.
I don't understand why Michigan State's there. They will fall out next week at some point.
I would certainly assume, because they didn't look very good, and I don't think they deserve to be ranked, plain and simple there.
All right, keep it right here, guys. We'll be answering your comments in the comment section below, and we'll see you next week for some more college football highlights.